I'm like, get out of my house. Like, honestly, like, you're just winding me up, mate. Like,
so Lee, that's what I'm saying. All right, so Lee, let's be real, innit? Let's be real.
I mean, I wouldn't hit that.
Arteta's not going anywhere, right? I don't want to overly analyze the game because we saw it was poor performance. We've spoken about Arsenal this season. They've been inconsistent. We've seen similar performances to this. We're going to see more performances like this as well, right? And Saka has been the main person bailing you out. And looking at it objectively, I thought, you know what? I like Nwaneri. I wanted him to get more opportunities. And I thought he was someone that could replicate the role that Saka plays for you, man. But now it looks like he's going to be out for an extended period as well, right? So as a wholly, what do you want to see change, right, from Arteta? Do you want to see, is it the style of play? Is it the recruitment? What is it that you need to see change to bring a little bit more life into the team?
It's funny as well. There's a point that Potts made, and I watched his review yesterday, so I won't take it. I'm sure he will talk about it, but it's got to be a combination of everything. Like, it can't just be one thing, and that's why I don't want to take Potts' point. But it's just not one thing. It's got to be a combination of the manager's got to try and let the shackles off a little bit. Now, again, if we're going to go into a little bit more of a microcosm of the game yesterday, we weren't playing Timber yesterday. We didn't have Ben White. Sorry, we didn't have Tomiyasu. He's not played this whole season anyway, so you can't really talk about him. We didn't have Saka. We didn't obviously start Odegaard because he's not well, and we didn't have Havertz, right? But ultimately, I also forgot Trossard. I didn't even know he was playing yesterday. Genuinely, I realized he was playing, I think, in the last minute when he had a shot that ballooned off onto the right side of the pitch. And I was just a bit like, wow, like, I felt like we was playing with 10 men. So, look, going back to your point, Don, it's a combination of it all. Like, the manager needs to do a bit more to let the shackles off. The players need to step up as well. Like, as we just said, like, some of these players are paid handsomely. The manager, as I said, he's earning £15 million a year. I think that's actually more than Pep. I actually, someone said to me,
it's second to Pep. It's only second to Pep.
Oh, Pep's on like 120. Apparently, somebody said, I don't know if that's true as well, but what about Simeone? Apparently, Simeone.
Yeah, it is. It's Pep and Simeone.
No, I heard Simeone earns the most. I heard Simeone, and then it's us, then it's Pep, then it's Arteta. Sorry,
that's it.
I'm sure.
Arteta's top three, innit? It's top three. He has to be top three.
I heard it's Simeone, then Arteta, then Pep. But look, it could be, like slim pickings in terms of what they get paid. So look, like it's just a damn right disgrace what's going on at this.
The thing is, Lee, like you said about me not going into what I'd said yesterday. I don't actually care if you do that. I'm not one of those guys, you know that. But I just feel like it is a culmination. And the reason I say it's not just Mikel Arteta, as much as I think at the moment on the pitch, I'm looking at him not quite understanding where he's trying to go with this. I just looked at that team, and the minute that window shut, I was like, nah, not happening. Not serious. That ain't good enough. Yeah. I looked at Calafiori, I looked at Neto, I looked at Marino, I looked at Sterling. I went, right, that's second or third. What we're going to win cup-wise? And look where we're at. We've not even got to the new year pretty much, and everyone said it's done, the league, see you later. And now Liverpool have drew. What's happening? Oh, well, maybe we're back in it. We're not in it, man. We ain't playing well enough, man. Just look at us. Don't look at what Liverpool are doing. Look at what we're doing. It's absolute crud. You look at the attack, it's absolutely embarrassing. We've got one of the worst attacks in the league. And at the moment, we've got one of the worst midfields in the league because he's trying to piece it together. You take Thomas Partey out of it, and I understand why he put him at right back. And I actually didn't think he played that bad yesterday at right back. I don't think he was anywhere near the problem. But he has to play in the six at the moment. So then that leaves you asking, why have we bought £105 million Rice? And what's his plan with him? I don't really understand what's happening with Declan Rice right now. I feel like he's trying to make him something he really is not. Now, I don't know. Lawless might surprise me and say that actually it's the right thing to do. But I don't think he's a Steven Gerrard.
Can I ask you a question? Would you buy more? Would you trust Arteta with money in January?
From the side, I got asked this question with Curtis last night. Me and Curtis were on till quite late talking about this because this is a serious issue now. A lot of people have said that Mikel Arteta has brought in unbelievable players at Arsenal, and I would actually highlight that probably 70% of them have actually been pretty bad. I think 30% of them have been very good. Declan Rice, I know that I've just said about him, but I actually do think he's a very good footballer. Martin Odegaard, Gabriel, I think he's been fantastic. When you look at the others, they're not his signings, are they? Because Saliba wasn't his signing. Bukayo Saka was here already. Martinelli was a Unai Emery signing. And then you look at the problem areas, and it's all of the positions that he signed. The number 9, the left 8, the left back. Everybody's still saying we need a left back. We've had 15 under Mikel Arteta. You know what I'm saying? The left 8, we've had about 8 players playing in there. We've had God knows how many attackers. I asked this question, Lee, last night to Curtis. I said, how many of these attackers has he actually got the best out of? because he didn't get the best out of Nelson or Pepe or Willian on the right. He's got the best out of Saka, but if I'm honest with you,
or ESR,
I struggle not to. You look at Smith Rowe, you look at Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, you can put into the bracket of saying fair play. Other than that, Martinelli and Trossard, not really. I mean, Trossard, we've seen it in glimpses, but he doesn't seem to be able to start him. He has to come off from the bench. And then you've got Havertz, Jesus, Aubameyang, and Lacazette. And I'd argue that Aubameyang and Lacazette right now would actually do a better job than what we've got up top. 100%. So I feel like there's a massive issue there with the coaching issue with Mikel Arteta. Then I move on to the ownership, and people say that I'm harsh on the ownership. Look how much they've spent. I don't give a damn. Look how much the Glazers have spent. Do you want them? Let's be real. It's not about what they spend.
Can I read a few figures to you, Potts?
Go on, brother.
This is Arsenal's spending under Mikel Arteta. He has spent 140 million on forwards. He has spent 275.4 million on midfielders. And he has spent 299.2 million.
That tweet's wrong. I know what tweet you're talking about because
it's not a tweet. It's not a tweet, bro. This is the Athletic. This is directly from the Athletic.
That's wrong because they put Havertz in the forward line. He's not a forward.
So it's saying here that he spent 299.2 million on defenders and goalkeepers.
No. So the figures are right, but I'm saying the positions are incorrect because they added Havertz into the forward line.
Yeah, but Havertz has mainly been used as a forward. He might have been signed as a midfielder.
He was bought as a midfielder.
He might have been. Yeah, but we told you that last summer though. I was having debates. Hold on.
Potts and I, everybody said we didn't necessarily want him. What I'm saying to you is you can't now change the narrative, or they can't spin that narrative to make it like we've spent 140 or whatever the figure.
You bought Havertz as a versatile player. That's what was said in the briefing.
No, he was bought as a midfielder. I promise you. You bought him, and you tried him in midfield at first, right? And then you moved him into a position that you said, not you, Lee, but your majority of your fan base was saying Chelsea misprofiled him by playing him up top, right?
That's correct, Lee. That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Havertz has predominantly played as up top, right? So we can put him in that category of an attack.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying I'm not letting the board get away with saying that's a forward because he was bought as a midfielder. I
get what you're saying, but I think the overarching point I'm making is that he spent most of his money on defenders. That's the graphic. That's the damning graphic of it.
That's correct.
He spent most of his money on defenders.
And you know what the ironic thing is, Don? We actually still need more defenders. That's what's ironic. We actually need more defenders because we've got players that want to leave. Tierney, Zinchenko's not good enough. Tomiyasu's made of glass. We've got Kivior who wants out. We can't get rid of those three and then not replace them. So we're going to need more defenders in the summer. We go into midfield. We've got Partey and Jorginho out of contract. What do we do there? Is Marino good enough? We've got the right-hand side. What happens with the Saka cover? Is it Sterling? Clearly not. We now need another right-sided forward. We've got the number 9 issue that's still there, and people are saying we need a left winger because Martinelli and Trossard aren't good enough. How many players do we need then in this side? Because I was told we needed a striker, and that was the final piece, and then we're ready to go. It's clearly not. And this is why I look at the ownership, because people say they've spent money. Yeah, do you know what? They've spent a lot of money. But look at what they've allowed their process or their regime to spend it on. But Lawless, just quickly as we go to Chelsea, what are you saying lastly? Because I know you've always had it in for like what Arsenal fans are thinking about Arsenal and Arteta, bruv. So go on. You're normally
There's just one thing I want to talk about, really. And that's what I've been waiting to talk about. The penalty. Because I saw a lot of complaints from Arsenal fans about this penalty.
It wasn't.
He touched the ball first.
Lie.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a coming together. He didn't mean it. It was an accident. It was so funny seeing this discourse from Arsenal fans. Not surprising. When cast your mind back to West Ham versus Arsenal, penalty, Fabianski, eyes on the ball. Comes out, goes to punch the ball away, touches the ball first, hand goes through the ball, hits Gabriel in the head. It's a penalty. All the Arsenal fans, everyone was telling me, you're crazy if you don't think that's a penalty. It's a stonewall penalty. All of a sudden now, when it happens...
It's not the same thing.
Lawless, punching somebody in the head, punching with force
like
that.
Someone in the head.
No.
Keepers use their hands.
You don't think that's a pen?
Hold on. Because I can objectively say that I want the manager out. but I'm still going to say that wasn't a penalty because it wasn't. In my opinion, your stupid comparison, trying to do one up because you're a West Ham fan and trying
Not
to make
one up. It's exactly the same thing.
You're trying to mention that someone's being punched in the head, whether it's a follow through, whether he's touched the ball first.
So a punch in the headbutt, headbutt's fine.
Hold on.
Let him land, Lawless. Let him land.
The velocity of that punch, in comparison, which everybody's seen. Hold on. Which everyone's seen yesterday that he touched the ball, which Saliba did touch the ball first. Now follow through the most delicate of touches where he's touched someone else's head afterwards. That is not a penalty. But whatever you want to say, if you want to make it a narrative just to prove your point, when it's little old West Ham, we get a penalty against.
That's not the narrative I'm saying.
No,
the narrative
is a narrative. The greater for what it is of football, it's not a penalty. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to point score here to make it when it happened to us. Ultimately, we know that the consistency of refs aren't great because yesterday,
that's not the point I'm making.
Saturday, we saw the same situation happen in the Newcastle game. So let's not do that. Like ultimately, it's not.
What point are you making then, Lawless? Talk to me. I don't get
it. They was both given as penalties, so I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about inconsistent ref because that is consistent, right? That is consistent. I'm saying that is the right. If ours was a penalty, that also should have been a penalty. My issue is double standards. Yeah, it's the double standards of many Arsenal fans and people that was vehemently telling me Fabianski's that's a penalty and Saliba's isn't. It doesn't matter about his fist has hit him a little bit harder than Saliba's head. Shut the fuck up.
It does matter.
What's sake, man? I just sat here so quietly and I can't fucking get 5 words out. What I'm saying, right? Let's break this down. Ball is here. Yeah. Pedro's looking at the ball. He's going to head it. Yes, okay. There's a little bit of touch of the ball, but he headbutts him in the side of the head, right? The side of the head. I'm not saying now, if it's up to me, I wouldn't see either given as penalties, right? In football, if it was an ideal world, Fabianski's wouldn't be a penalty and Saliba's wouldn't be a penalty. But if we're setting a precedent, yeah, because what Fabianski has done, he's looking at the ball. Saliba, where he's looking, it happens to be in line with his head. I don't think either are penalties. But what I'm saying is, you can't complain and say, yeah, that's a penalty, and this isn't. Let's have some consistency. Yes, one's a fist. Goalkeepers use their fists, yeah? If you headbutt someone, it's gonna hurt more than getting punched in the head. Let me tell you that for free. Yeah.
All right, Green Street.
I'm just telling you, it is.
Wait, Lawless. The thing is, for me, I don't understand. I don't understand how people aren't seeing what João Pedro did in that situation, right? For me, that is a clear penalty. And I'm seeing Arsenal fans saying that he touched the ball first. Saliba touched the ball first. No, he didn't.
He did.
João Pedro got his head to the ball first, right? Because he felt Saliba behind him, right? He touched the ball with his head to take it away from him, which was very smart play, right? And the ball hit Saliba's head after Pedro touched it. It hit the back of his head. Saliba didn't even know where the ball was because Saliba missed the ball. He headbutted Pedro in the side of his face, side of his head, right? When the ball was nowhere near him, it was gone.
That's
what Saliba had to do in that situation, what would have been smarter for Saliba to do in that situation, right? Was to let Pedro bring the ball down and then win the ball when the ball goes on the floor. That's what would have been smarter, right? This ain't the first time I've seen Saliba move mad in the box. I can go back to last season at the Bridge. Remember that penalty that we got? The ball came in, the guy had his arm out like Superman and it hits his arm. It was a clear penalty, right? Even yesterday, go watch Saliba's face when he made that impact. He didn't complain. It was like Delit today. Delit's face was guilt. Saliba's face was guilt because João Pedro did him in that situation, right? No one's understanding that Pedro was very, very smart. He saw the situation and he instigated contact. That's what top players do, right? If it was his foot that did that, and the attackers moved the ball away from the defender, and it's his foot that's caught him, you're not going to be complaining about this. But the reason why you lot are complaining is because these sort of incidents are very, very rare. They're very, very rare, bro. You don't really see many incidents like this. But when I'm looking at the principle of what happened, I'm looking at that and I'm like, yo, Pedro, you did very well there.
Does Saliba miss the ball, Don?
He missed it.
Missed the ball.
Bro,
okay, watch it again. Watch it again then, Don, because you haven't. No. Watch it again because you haven't seen it, bro. Because watch it, he doesn't miss the ball.
João Pedro got to. You didn't listen to what I said, Potts. João Pedro got to the ball first. He headed the ball away from Saliba. The ball bounced off of Saliba's head, off the back of his head, and Saliba missed. He missed the ball and headbutted him in the side of the head.
Don. I'm telling you now.
It bounced off the back of his head.
Don. I'm telling you now. Saliba got the ball. Okay, let's just ask for argument's sake, because I think we're all going to go around in circles. If Saliba gets the ball first, do you think it's still a penalty?
No.
Okay, so I'm just letting you know. Go and watch it again from the other angle.
I've watched it many angles.
No, you haven't, because I
have in slow motion as well.
You keep saying that. Of course, the first instance of the contact is going to be from João Pedro, because he's the one that had the ball in front of him. Of course.
There we go. Then he's got control of the situation, right?
But then he makes another touch, which allows for free fall. It's a 50-50. The ball's in limbo in the middle of the air. They both go for the ball. Saliba gets the most slightest of touches first, which wasn't picked up by VAR. That's what Potts and I are trying to say.
That's what I'm talking about.
There was a touch because the ball's in the air. At that point, when the ball's in the air, it's 50-50. And I can go for it, you can go for it. So when that's in the air, Saliba gets the slightest of touches, which then passes on to the likes of João Pedro getting that second touch, which was more obvious, which makes him go down like a ton of bricks. That's what happened. So look, I think that's the only thing, because we're gonna go around you. I think if you just watch it again, and you'll see that
I've watched it a million and one times. So, I don't know what you lot are watching. Hold on, Lee. Yeah? I don't know what you lot are watching when you're saying Saliba got to the ball first. Pedro got to the ball first. He headed it onto Saliba's head.
No, I didn't say. We didn't say got to the ball first.
Pedro. Yeah, but that's where the foul is.
We're not gonna agree. Let's move.